going on? This is your man Andy Mineo. We are here in Houston, Texas for Lecrae's Gravity album release party.
Yeah. Cool. I had mentioned to you before, I always like to ask people their first introduction to Christian hip hop and kind of your experience with it. So tell me a little bit how you got exposed to it and kind of maybe the songs or albums that really moved you, or just any stories from kind of the early days. Because I think one thing we don't do enough in this genre is kind of celebrate the past, and just like you just did with mainstream hip hop, I think we could highlight our Christians doing hip hop a little bit better.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. So I was a pretty, I was a pretty wild kid growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just loud, obnoxious. Not much has changed. No. And so I got kicked out of public school in 5th grade. And I was just a handful, man. I was like a hellraiser. I had no discipline at home, no male figures, and so it was difficult for me to kind of, respect authority. And so one summer I was just acting up. Summer I got kicked out of school, and my sister, who's a Christian, was going to be a counselor at a Christian camp, and my mom was just like, "Go with her, please, for the summer." So I went there, and that's the first time I heard the gospel, and so. That's when I really understood it. I became a believer, and there they were listening to Cross Movement, and they were listening to Papa San. And so that's when I was like, yo, people rap that are Christians, and I heard the Ambassador, and the Ambassador just became one of my favorites. And then Papa San, obviously Christian reggae stuff. The irony now is his son is producing for a lot of my records. So Ty Shane is the one who did All About the Benjamins, Saturday morning cartoons, and he did Young and Michael Jackson and stuff. So yeah, that was my first introduction, and from there I really started getting into it, looking up more people, and later on, a few years later, I found the Truth, and the Truth, man, just blew my mind. Like, I learned so much about theology and just practical, things about the Christian faith that I never would. I learned the word propitiation from a freaking the Truth song.
Yeah.
It said Jesus initiated, the Father's propitiated, and that was the first time I ever heard it. So learned so much from those guys, and I celebrate them, man. I'm grateful. Without them, I probably wouldn't have had an example to say, hey, man, I can use my gifts this way.